Hey, brothers and sisters. This is Clark again going over the Confessions of Augustine. This is going to be book five. And this section, book five of Augustine's Confessions, is really about Augustine dealing with disappointment. He's in his 20s. He's been in this religious group, the Manichees, for a while now. And he's starting to see some of the holes in their beliefs. He's starting to ask questions that the leaders cannot answer. He's reading some scientific studies of like the moon and the sun and the stars, all things that were really important to the Romans back then. And the answers that the philosophers is this group that he talks about, the philosophers, and he's reading their stuff and their calculations about the way that the earth and the sun and the moon are all aligned and how the seasons come and all that. And he's starting to see, okay, the philosophers are right. They seem to be correct, but it's not what the Manichees are saying, his religious group. And he's starting to question them. And the Manichees keep on saying, hey, wait for this guy Faustus to come. Wait for Faustus to show up and he'll explain everything. And we've probably all had that in our lives. Well, hey, you don't understand this? Oh, wait for this guy. This guy will explain it. Once he explains everything. And this guy Faustus shows up, and Augustine gets a chance to finally talk to him, and he's just let down. He's disappointed. Augustine agrees with the philosopher's scientific findings, and they're against what the Manichees say. And the Manichees' explanations essentially let him down, right? You don't need to get too overwhelmed with like the details of what he disagrees with. If you can, in general, understand that Augustine is seeing that there are flaws in Manichae beliefs, and he's just kind of despondent about it. He's upset about it. He doesn't. He's like, man, if they're wrong about this, then what else are they wrong about? And so he gets to a point where he's lost, and he's like, he stays with the Manichees and he sticks with them because basically he doesn't know where else to go. He doesn't believe in going back to the church. He thinks that their teachings are backwards. He doesn't fully believe the philosophers in terms of not believing really anything or doubting everything. But he's also like, the Manichees aren't obviously right about a lot of things. And so he's just in this time of confusion. And that's a lot of what he's talking about in this book, is that this group says this, but they're not correct and they're not right. And they're trying to stand on this foundation that isn't there. And so he's let down, which I think is a feeling a lot of us can understand. There's things that we thought that we were being told the truth about something. We thought that we were in the right, in the know, or that we were living the right way, or things were going to be great, and then we're totally let down. So he's completely lost and let down at this point. And I want to also show you what's going on in his life at this time. So let me pull up this map for you just to kind of show what's going on with him. And I have a few things outlined for you. Down here in the corner here in Africa, oh, that's my school bell going off, just so you know what that was. But this down here is where he's at in Africa, in Carthage. And he's frustrated with his students who he's teaching because they aren't attentive. They don't come to all of his classes. They don't. They come and they're unruly. Their behavior is bad. They don't pay attention. That kind of thing. I mean, it sounds like a teacher, right? So he hears that if he moves to Rome, up here, right, that the students are much better there. And he does. So he sets off in this chapter across the sea to Rome. And Rome is a step up, right? He's also moving up the ladder here. He does this in an interesting part. He moves away from his mother, which breaks her heart, right? She has been praying for him. She wants him to become a Christian. She loves Augustine deeply. And her boy is leaving home. And she is trying desperately to go with him. And this is part of his confessions, he lies to her, and he tells her that they're delayed, the ship's delayed, so just sleep in the hotel for the night, and we'll set out in the morning. And when she goes and does that, he leaves in the middle of the night and leaves his mother back in Africa. Just imagine the pain, the heartache, and he knows that. And this is all part of his confessions, what he was doing here. He sails across and goes to Rome. But then he gets to Rome, and remember, disappointment. This chapter is all about him being disappointed, things letting him down. He gets to Rome, and the students, they're bad in a different way. These students show up, and then at the end of the quarter, when they're supposed to pay money for the classes, they don't. They skip out. They go somewhere else. So he's going here, and they're skipping out, and he's let down again. He's disappointed again. But guess what? He uses his connections with the Manichees, and he keeps moving up, because maybe if I just do this next thing, I'll be happy, right? Isn't that a story of our lives? Maybe once I get to this point, I'll be happy. So he moves up here to Milan, which is where the emperor of Rome lived at the time. It's where the government of the Roman Empire was. It actually wasn't in Rome. It was up here in Milan. And he thinks, man, if I get there, that is where I'll be happy. And he's actually right, but not in the ways that he thinks. Up here, he meets a brother named Ambrose, who we're going to learn about in the next section, and it's going to be an encounter that starts to change his life.